take a look. I'm going to walk you through the lab quickly. You go to your system manager. You're going to go to zip entities. You're going to create a zip entity for your CM. Stay here with me. I just want to walk you through it.
Okay.
You're going to create a zip entity for your CM. The location of your CM is your lab. You have right now 4 locations, right?
Right.
But this CM is within your own lab. Okay. So you create a entity and then an entity link. So the entity link, you go click on new, you give it a name. It's actually kind of easy. So all you need to do is in zip entity 1, you select your session manager. In zip entity 2, you select your CM. Zip entity 1 is always your session manager. I thought the lab was going to be actually more. So go ahead, guys, and create those. You didn't have to actually walk you through the lab.
So, okay. So then we have to do that.
Alex, can you see? Yeah.
Yeah. Lab 10.
Viewer. Yep. Wait, Blaine's on.
Starting in page 136.
Yeah, so lab, okay, elements, routing, zip entities.
Yeah.
Here it is, I was in the wrong one. Okay, it's there. Okay, so this is validate that that's correct. So that's correct. Session manager. Okay. Now we have to add CM in there, because it's its own entity. Right. And here's where okay, this makes sense. So lab 10-CM. And the address is 192.168.10.4. And this is a CM, not another session manager, it's a communications manager. Lab location would be lab 1. And 6th page. Keep the root section and sit monitoring the class 1. Yeah, that's weird.
Options specific for CL.
They have Detroit. Seems like we have. It is actually, but. And scroll down and commit. I'm committed. Now we can go to the links. Yep, the links between the two. So do new. And the first one, like Esther said, session manager should be first. So lab 10 SM. Oh, wait a second. No, 2, yeah, because that's going to be the name of the link that shows both. So to lab 10 CM. And the first one is for lab 10 SM. TLS is fine. This 5061 is for encrypted. And then this is lab 10 CM.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. That's ours, but
And then commit.
why is the link name? You hit that? Here it says SM Lab 4 CM1.
What's that?
We did name it CM1 for a moment, and then changed it to CM4, but it didn't
Okay.
correct the name.
Yeah, normally, did you create the entity link here in this page, or you did it through the zip entities menu?
Through the zip entity page.
Yeah, so notice that the lab tells you to go to zip entities, create the zip entity, and then go to entity links and create entity links. However, you have the option to create the entity link right when you're creating, while you're creating the zip entity.
Yeah.
If you do it like that,
Then that pops up on the entity link.
the name pumps, I mean, the thing is that it kind of gives a name for it right away. And it gives a name depending on what you're selecting here. Notice how this is gonna change. Right, so right now if I were to change this to, you see how the name updates?
Oh,
Yeah.
look at that.
And probably what happened is that you did select the SIP entity here, the right one, is, but here the name,
Yeah,
Change
because
the-
we did it in an odd order. We noticed, well, we should have used number 4 for lab 4, so we
I
changed
see.
it a moment later. So let's see
so
if we can edit it.
that's why.
Yeah, click that checkbox and edit.
Yeah, sometimes I prefer to give them the name that I want, because I find sometimes these names,
See if you can change it.
I don't know, well, it's okay.
Just see what commit. No, that makes a little more sense.
Yeah.
It's just
It's good that they used to do that.
at least points us
Just
in the
they
right
have
direction.
control over the naming convention.
Let's see.
Oh, just
Wings, and I see, okay, everybody has entity links, let's see, yeah. So notice that the entity link, the SIP entity one is always one of your session managers. When you have multiple session managers, you need to create links between your session
Session
managers as well,
So we can talk.
so they can talk to each other.
It's like if I wanted to be able to call Jesse, I'd have to have a session manager link between his session manager and
And
mine.
that's a very good question, because yes, but one important thing is that if you want to talk to Jesse's session manager, and you want to create his SIP entity, you would go with maybe SM lab 3,
Mm-hmm.
the IP address, blah blah blah. But the type, even though that's a session manager,
Uh-huh.
the type is not going to be session manager, because that session manager is not managed by your system manager. It doesn't belong to your session manager cluster.
Oh, so it's outside, it's off.
It's something else.
Premise.
Yeah, it would be, the correct
Other?
way to do it would be other,
Other.
something else,
Oh, well.
you know? So, but you're absolutely right. But it's different to what I was saying is that in your environment, you probably have a cluster of
Yes.
session managers with 2-4 session managers.
Right.
So even those session managers that belong to the same cluster need to have entity links between them, because they still need to communicate.
But those would be session manager then, and the type.
Yeah, all of those
Okay.
session managers in the cluster would have the type as session
Okay,
manager.
understood.
The reason why you want to have those entity links between your session managers is because maybe one SIP phone is registered to one session manager and the other phone is registered to another session manager in the same cluster as primary. So you want to make sure that the two session managers are able to communicate. Okay, routing. Sorry, entities and entity links done.
So how would you check the link? It doesn't come out on the, like whenever it replicates with the, is there any way to check those links?
No, that's a no. The only way, I mean, we have to kind of trust. If you go to replication and you see it synchronized, you need to trust that whatever you configure in system manager right now is being pushed to your session manager. Before, back in the day, in release, I mean, there is a way to do it by going to session manager and going to the database in session manager and getting to see if that was replicated. But that's with a user that Avaya no longer gives you. Back in the day in release 6.1, Avaya gave you access to the root account in session manager, and with the root account, you were able to go to the database and check. Now you can't. And so all you can do is trust that if you see this synchronized, whatever you configure is being pushed to your session manager.
So if there was something wrong with that CM link, synchronized with, it would be red or yellow?
No, this is more synchronization between the databases. Yeah. So so I mean, to your question, the only way for you to see if that, actually no, that's, okay. So now that you have an entity and an entity link, okay, now I see how to answer your question better. If you go to the dashboard, take a look at this. Right now, you do see that there is a problem with that entity link. Session manager, your session manager is not able to communicate with one SIP entity right now. let's see. If I click on the hyperlink, again, I'm in the session manager dashboard. If I click here, which is a hyperlink, it uses Flash,
Oh, link status now.
and it's going to show you that from the session manager perspective, right now that CM is down, even though you already configured a link. Because it's right away, when you configure the link, it sent an options request, but it never received 200 OK. The reason why it's not receiving the 200 OK is because right now CM doesn't have a zip trunk to send that 200 OK to session manager. So from a session manager perspective, that link is down. So this would be, Jesse, the place where you could see if the entity link is functional or not. In this case, it's well configured, but CM doesn't have a zip trunk yet. Once you have the zip trunk created in CM, which is something you're going to be doing today, you'll see the app. Because now CM is able to answer to those 200 Ks. If you trace, let me stop, what am I? Traces. Let me make sure that I'm not filtering messages. I should now see 200 OKs. The things that's going to happen, well, for CM will happen every 2 minutes. Just clear the screen. Make sure that I have no filters. I should see options requests not being answered by CM, pretty much,
Right.
with a 200 OK. That's what I am expecting to see.
That would give you a 400 message or something?
Subscribe, I don't want to see that one, I don't care about that one.
That would be cool.
Well, I'll eventually get to see them. It looks like it's capturing them,
That's a
capturing
global-
them, you see,
Yeah.
but it's not displaying
So
them.
you're getting a global failure 500 message.
Let me see, what if I change,
600.
it has happened to me before that when I increase the font size, I have some weird behavior. Let's see if that's the case. Right now, capture 26, capture 30, 34, and I'm gonna stop the trace, quit the trace, open up the trace one more time. I'm curious on why I'm not capturing. You see, I captured 4, but they're not displayed. I wonder if it's maybe because I'm not displaying.
Could you be in that historical trace?
They could,
Instead
but I
of a
think
live
you know
trace?
what? The problem is, those captured messages are actually coming from the session manager application and going to the SM100, and I didn't have this option enabled. Remember the A?
Right.
So those were those messages. But I don't get to see options between CM and session manager. If I wait, I should see one because session manager should still try to monitor CM to see if it's back up. Let me go back. Let me just, I don't want to be there waiting. Okay, but now in the dashboard you get to see that that zip entity from the session manager perspective is down. Okay.